Hey everyone, I hope you're all well. It's day 15 post-op. Feeling good again, what can I say? I did another walk this morning, so 1.5 kilometres. That's about all I've done because I've then sat and worked all day. So I'm still getting plenty of rest for those of you that were worried. But yeah, I got out. It took half an hour to do that amount, so still very small strides. But I'm feeling good afterwards, so that's great, and just getting out in the fresh air really helps. I've got my new binder on today, so it's the next size down from the one that I came out of hospital with, and I'm like literally squeezed into it. But I'm loving the shape that I've got here, where I had a real kind of roll, so that's great. I'm still massively swollen though here. And actually that still measures 35 inches, which is about 6 or 7 inches, about 6 inches bigger than when I went into hospital, so there's still lots of work. And I've still got my bruises, look, I think that one's fading actually, but on that arm I've got my bruise still, which is funny. So yeah, new binder on. I haven't got the one that straps around it as well, because that's in the wash at the moment, but that should be ready shortly, and I'll put that on, because actually without them on I don't feel stable, so I don't know what that's about. But I take them off for sort of 30 minutes a day while I have a shower, and I feel really all over the place. So the security of having the compression garment and the binder on is just brilliant. I love it. I'm lying flat, completely flat now in bed, so nothing under my knees, which I think is contributing to the lack of swelling in a morning. This morning when I looked in the mirror, it was just brilliant again, and so much better than 2 days ago. I'm looking every 2 days, and the progress is just blowing me away. It's, you know, I can see my waist, I can see the definition coming through. It just doesn't feel like me, and it's incredible really, and worth all the pain that I went through. So, you know, and it's even worth the swelling. I know the swelling's going to be hanging around for 4 or 5 weeks yet, maybe even longer, but it gets better every day, and that's the main thing. And it doesn't matter now, because look, my new tracksuit bottoms have come. Woohoo! So I've got something different to wear this weekend, which will make me feel better, I'm sure. What else? Showering, I've not touched on this, but showering was tough at first. Well, I didn't have a shower for 9 days, but it was exhausting, and that's getting much easier now. And to make sure that I keep my dressings nice, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I don't want them messing up, even though they're waterproof, I wrap myself in cling film across my tummy here. And that seems to work really well. So that's my little top tip for anyone who's having surgery. I am a bit reflective at the moment, I think. I had a good look today at the photographs of me from 2013, kind of the start of the real weight loss journey, the start of the 8.5 stone. And it's really difficult looking at those photos, because I think that year and into 2014 was the year when I really don't recognise myself. There was another moment like that, sort of in my 20s, where I totally let myself go. But 2013-14 completely isn't me. And, you know, I am huge, you know, size 22, 24, dress size. I'd had my hair cut and I hated it, and I'd had 2 children fairly quickly together, you know, there's 18 months between them, 20 months between them, and I'd kind of lost my identity a little bit. I was in a job that I didn't like, and, you know, there was lots of things that weren't going well in my life. And I had a nice home, and I had a nice husband, and we had, you know, a good income, and there was lots of things to feel good about, but the unhappiness around certain aspects and that loss of identity from being a career person to being a mummy really played havoc, I think, with my emotions and how I felt about myself, and therefore I used to eat to make that go away, and I would eat to excess, you know, in those days. And I remember the doctor prescribing antidepressants for me, and I took them for about probably 3 months and felt absolutely dreadful. So just stopped taking them one day, which isn't recommended, but that's what I did. And then suddenly I started to kind of pull out of that and try and get myself better by going on a diet. And it was silly diets like 5-2 and, you know, Cambridge and Slim Fast, but they did work. You know, I gradually lost weight, kept putting a bit back on, lose a bit more, put a bit back on. And I guess the turning point for me was getting back into a job that I liked. I knew that the job that I had was contributing to how I felt, and therefore I just made a decision one day to hand in my notice and set up as an independent consultant, and that was a turning point for me. And you know, the rest is kind of history really, because it's taken 3.5 years to get to this point where I am now. But when I compare my photograph this morning to that woman in 2013 who was desperately unhappy with herself and desperately trying to find who she was other than a mummy of 2, which, you know, I'm really proud to be a mummy of 2, and I love Finley and Coral to bits, but I needed more. And I've now found that again. You know, I've found my career, I've found a pride in myself where, you know, I matter, and I give time to myself, and I don't feel selfish about that, because as Mr. Cox always says to me, a happy mummy in this household means a happy Finley, a happy Coral, and a happy Mr. Cox. And therefore I do take time for me and strive to be the best version, and I'm getting there, and it feels satisfying and fulfilling. So yeah, we'll see what the next few months brings. I'm excited. So on that note, I will leave you, and I will speak to you tomorrow.